Coach V holds everybody to the same standard from the top starter to a freshman that doesn't play. For example, Arkansas State, when we were blowing them out 77-0 and all the young guys got in, the standard was the same. Don't let them score. If you score, you're getting taken out the game.
As a fan, you don't understand the work that you put really goes into this, and I think being on the other side has made me 10 times more grateful to, be at that small 1%, to be in that locker room.
With the DBs in the back, we just do signals and things, and just making sure they're caught onto it, and they give us a signal back to make sure they confirmed it. Because if not, it's gonna be a bad show.
Hey guys, we're extremely excited to watch the defense this year. I know awesome venues that you guys are going to get to experience, but what we saw out of this year, out of you guys, was incredible.
College football tees, college basketball tees, whatever you need, Mercury has you covered with the best merch out there. We're talking about high quality clothing, inexpensive, and the best part is I have a 15% discount for everybody who goes and gets some right now. Use the code below, hit the link in the description, and go get your merch now. Use the code to get 15% off. What are you waiting on? Go do it.
It's a little terrifying for me. I'm an offensive guy. I wore a blue jersey every day on the practice field. Defensive guys, bone chillers. Let's go. I'm going to ask you guys, just for the sake of time, just a couple of quick questions here. And so I'll start down here with you, RSJ, and then we'll run down the line. Tell me, so for everybody so that they can hear, obviously BV comes from Clemson. We think of him as the best college football mind as it comes to the defensive side of the ball. Talk a little bit just about what he's brought here, not only from a head coaching standpoint, but from the mindset that you guys have going week in and week out on the field, because, man, it was fun for us to watch this year. You guys just shutting people out and swarming to the ball and all those things. So just talk about your head coach, but really more of a defensive mindset and what you guys bring to the table.
I'll say the standard. Coach V holds everybody to the same standard from the top starter to a freshman that doesn't play. For example, Arkansas State, when we were blowing them out 77-0 and all the young guys got in, the standard was the same. Don't let them score. If you score, you're getting taken out the game. So I think the standard is the biggest thing that Coach V holds.
No doubt. Gentry, Oklahoma guy yourself. I know that you told me in the back that you grew up kind of watching my days and before that. Being from the state of Oklahoma, talk about just what it was like to stay here in state, to come to OU, and then what it's meant to put on the Crimson and Cream on Saturdays.
I think it really means a lot, for me, just being in the stadium and being in the stadium from a fan aspect for so long, and then actually, being the reason why they're cheering and being in that moment and being able to run out that tunnel is everything every single week. And as a fan, you don't understand the work that you put really goes into this, and I think being on the other side has made me 10 times more grateful to be at that small 1%, to be in that locker room.
No doubt. Now, the linebacking crew, you guys have always been fun to watch. Years past, obviously some incredibly big names have come through this place from the linebacking standpoint. Now we're going to the SEC. We've all talked about it. I'm pretty sick of talking about it myself. You guys are going to go out there and you're going to beat whoever is across from you, right? But just from that linebacker room, a group that I think really stepped up this past year with all you guys in there and played incredible football. What is y'all's mentality going into the SEC where it's, hey, the linebackers are going to run everything, right?
Yeah, just as much as being more detailed than we were last year. Better techniques, better everything than we did last year. We're all just coming in that attack mindset that, they may sleep on us, but we coming at your neck. So I love that.
Good talk.
Coming at your neck. I love that. What do you got to say about that, RSJ? At least from a DB standpoint, I always appreciated the DBs were always the last to leave the practice field, doing extra footwork, putting in the extra work. I thought you guys this year showed that you had such a great culture in the back end. You communicated really, really well, and it showed up. One of the things that I kept saying as I watched the film and watched every game was the ability to not only be a hawk for the football, but your the relationship that you had with receivers. Right, you guys were just always on point. You didn't have many busts in the back end. So, what do you attribute that to with the DB group?
I can say us all watching film together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all back seven, we all watch film with Coach V. It's not really separate, so we all know what each other do. We all know each other's job, so we know the weakness of the defense, we know the strengths, so it just kind of helps us all play faster, play better, and then we all communicate because we all hang out with each other outside of football also.
Love it. Yeah, that's huge. So along those lines, just for everybody that understands the X's and O's but really doesn't, give us an example, okay, 3-by-1 and you're on the one receiver side and you've got motion coming your way. Give us an example of how you guys are communicating in the back end with motion out of the backfield, so to speak.
I'll say we'll get like a motion to empty. We'll go into a game plan. If it's a slow motion, we might run the play. But if it's another motion, we might check. Some games it's automatic. Once they get into a certain formation, we're going to a certain play. And for me, because if it's a 3-by-1 formation, I'm usually pressed. So RJ has to give me the call so I can either, back up or I can stay pressed, or I can move outside, I can move inside. And
so are you guys y'all are screaming at each other? Y'all got hand signals? You're looking at the sideline? What does that communication look like? Because all of us that are watching on TV, you guys are doing this, yelling at each other and doing everything else.
Yeah.
What does it actually look like?
I feel like me and him, we got a smooth connection.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like we just communicate. So we scream at each other because it's always loud, especially if we're home, it's always loud. So we really scream at each other and use hand signals. That's really the easiest thing. But if it's a away game, it's usually quiet for us. So we can talk regular. But if it's away, if it's a home game, we have to scream at each other, use hand signals, mostly hand signals though.
Yeah. But obviously a lot goes into the pregame prep and you know what's coming, right?
Yeah.
You don't even have to call it. Obviously you guys at the second level there, talk about the communication that y'all have, not only with the guys behind you that are flying around, but the big boys up front and how that goes on both an away game and at a home game.
Yeah, the big guys in front, sometimes they got a little trouble here. So we have to, sometimes get up there, give them a little love tap or whatever and scream in their ear if have to. But with the DBs in the back, we just do signals and things and just making sure they caught onto it and they give us a signal back to make sure they confirmed it. Because if not,
big chicken
match.
All right, so I'll ask each of you guys this question, then we'll open it up for a few questions from the crowd. But if there was one guy on your defensive unit, and I know everybody looks into everybody's eyes and you're ready to rock and roll, but who's that guy when they make a play or you see him on the sideline, they're just the guy that you're like, all right, let's rock and roll. I want that guy to make a play. I'm going to go make a play for that brother. He's the guy that is the lifeblood to this defense. Answer that question for me.
For me, I'll say Billy Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
He was a sophomore, I was a freshman, so we kind of grew up together here. And just knowing all the work and preparation he puts into this game, you'll want to work hard for him because he has your back. He'll take the blame from you if he messed up. He'll take accountability, so why not just do it for him too?
No doubt.
I'll say for me, personally, what gets me going is I remember early on in the season, Kip and RJ, when they make a play on punt and that return got 0 yards, I'm like, oh yeah, we got to go get a 3 and out now. So that was the main thing for me, seeing the effort on special teams. Once we had a good play on special teams, you can't let the team down.
Yeah, I would probably either say Danny. We kind of feed off each other's energy. So I like whenever he makes a play, it's I made a play. So I just love him.
I always say that all linebackers are just a little bit off. You're not a little bit off. You're good. You're good. That's awesome, guys. Let's open it up to questions from the crowd for these guys. Defensive mindset. That way we can get to our last segment here.
Any good film stories from DD, Brandon Hall, and Jay Live?
You said
General funny stories?
You said a funny story?
Yeah. I'll say for me, Coach Hall, so everybody in the 22 class, we didn't get recruited by them. So I didn't meet Coach Hall literally until moving into the dorms. So I'm taking my stuff up there and I'm opening my front door and, Coach Hall is not that tall. It's 5'8". So he comes up to me, he's like, what's your name? I'm like, Robert Spears-Jennings. He's like, the guy I've been looking for all around. I couldn't find you, but I'm your new safeties coach. And it was funny because I couldn't believe it at first, but that's my guy right there.
Any other questions? All right, I'll ask this. Who's got the nastiest room in Headington Hall when y'all were there? I'll start this. I'm going to brag on myself for a minute. I'm a clean freak. And so Ty Darlington was my roommate. He was our center. And we had the room that whenever recruits would come in, they would show us their room, our room, because we always had it nice and neat. So I'm not going to throw any of you guys under the bus if your room was nasty, but the guys across the hall from us, pizza boxes. They had to pull out the carpet after they stayed in there. They didn't pick up
What is
nasty.
that one dude? The dude
I know you're talking about.
transferred.
I know you're talking about. I can't say no names though.
No names. We won't hold anybody under the bus.
Okay, I went into a room, somebody's room, not gonna say no names. And it was just literally like you go, like a trash site, like it's just piles of trash. It was a pile of trash in a corner, and I was like, oh. Guys, we not gonna throw anything away, or it's just like this pile. I'm like literally talking about piles of trash, bags of trash, literally just stacked in the corner over there. And I'm like, oh my, we need to do some life lessons here or something. This ain't what it's supposed to look like.
Speaking of life lessons, we had a guy on our team, again, no names here, but they kept getting on him like, dude, your clothes smell bad, like really bad. He's like, dude, I do my wash. No, you smell bad, dude. Like, smell your clothes. You got BO and everything. It's like, I just put this shirt on. Well, for all you parents out there, remind your kiddos that they got to put soap in the washing machine to wash their clothes. This dude was washing his clothes just in the dirt, and it was just recycling. Wow. So always put your pods or your tied in clothes. Hey, guys, we're extremely excited to watch the defense this year. I know awesome venues that you guys are going to get to experience, but what we saw out of this year, out of you guys, was incredible. And I know I'm going to be on the back porch tuning in each and every week as everybody else is here. So best of luck to you guys. And we'll bring in our last segment here in a minute. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.